Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 463 based on novel. So let's start. Brother Xiao Yan, in the depths of this Phoenix Township plane, there should be a way to break the game, and the feeling of the reincarnation seal is extremely hot. I'm afraid it has something to do with the Phoenix Island above. It wasn't until all the violent energy dissipated that Zuna looked at the depths of the plane with a solemn expression and said, "Now it seems that it is almost impossible to clean and brute force to enter Phoenix Island, so it can only start from Phoenix Township. The Phoenix family has a noble temperament, and there are more than Phoenix trees. The breath of life in this plane covered with strange crystals is extremely weak." Xiao Yang shook his head, but for a while he couldn't use any other good method. Let's go to the depths first. With the help of Zuna's reincarnation seal, we should be able to break through the game relatively smoothly. After speaking, everyone started to move, walking towards the depths of this Phoenix Township. I don't know which holy flame this Phoenix family possesses. Xiao Yang was a little excited in his heart, but he didn't show it, because based on some obscure legends about the Phoenix family, Xiao Yang didn't think that the Phoenix family would give away the holy flame they guarded, and because the Phoenix family's secret methods were too meticulous, no one knows which holy flame is in their clan. While walking, looking at the bustling sycamore trees around him, a light and sacred aura pervades slightly, but some of those fiery red strange crystals and flames are covered in dust. These sycamore trees seem to have stopped growing and have no vitality at all. Even based on Xiao Yang's perception, these crystals and flames are not like vampires absorbing the ancient power in the plane trees. On the contrary, they are protecting these plane trees. With his eyes, he couldn't find anything strange in the plane tree, but Xiao Yang's soul power and holy flame were able to find some things that ordinary people couldn't find. Above these plane trees, there is a very strong evil wave. That kind of power is not necessary for non-territorial evil races. But now the evil power is so weak that it can almost be ignored. But this kind of subtle discovery made Xiao Yang think, could it be that the tyrannical Phoenix clan also smothered the attack of the foreign evil clan? "Did you find anything?" Bing Shueyao asked the shrunken Bingfeng beside her. "Breakthrough." Bingfeng suddenly cried out to the depths of Phoenix Township, her clear voice filled with hostility. "Be careful." Bing Zueo knew that Bingfeng had the blood of the phoenix, so she could only instruct everyone. After a while, everyone's vision suddenly became narrow, and a crystal forest almost surrounded by countless plane trees appeared in front of everyone without any sign. The crystal forest is airtight and cannot use any force to penetrate the interior. A crystal passage is extremely conspicuous, and there are even some slight walking marks in this crystal passage. Obviously someone has walked. "Help me." When everyone hesitated, an extremely violent energy turned into fiery red energy ripples, spreading from the depths of the crystal forest in front of them, accompanied by an extremely weak sound. "Did you hear that?" Feng Qianjiao's body trembled abruptly, as if she could smell a real moving expression from this voice. That is absolute suppression above the bloodline. Everyone looked at each other, carefully stepped into the crystal passage, and walked towards the depths of the crystal forest. 10 minutes later, in the depths of the crystal forest, a huge scene shook their hearts and could not calm down for a long time. This is the lake and the plane tree. What came into view was an extremely wide and huge area, and in the area was a sparkling lake, but the lake at this time was also sealed by crystal blocks. In the center of the lake, there is a huge sycamore tree with a height of 1,000 meters. Its branches, its body, all reveal a touch of ancient fluctuations. Phoenix Island. Was it actually dragged by it? Why can't we see this scene from the outside? Feng Qiandai frowned, obviously having a lot of doubts. This is the method of the Phoenix family. Maybe there is a force here to block it. We are in the outside world and can't really find the situation here. Zuna nodded. At this time, the reincarnation seal was not hot, but sent out a trace of scorching arrogance, burning Zuna's body. Obviously, the power to suppress the seal of samsara has reached its limit, and what Zuna has to face next is the backlash of the seal of samsara, but there is still a tiny bit of time before the last step. "Help me." The ancient low-pitched voice came out, and suddenly the ancient sycamore tree branches under the dust-covered crystal blocks in front of everyone flickered with fiery red light, and then suddenly exploded. This sycamore tree. This is the guardian of Phoenix Township, the spirit of the Phoenix tree. Not long after, the five-legged golden crow shrank and stood on Zuna's shoulder. While relieving the latter's backlash, he stared at the ancient giant tree in front of him and lost his voice. Although the five-legged golden crow was suppressed by the Zhuaniaro clan for many years, He was once the guy who followed the 9 profound Fire Lord into the Phoenix clan. His memory was floating and it was easy to recall. The spirit of the Indus? Xiao Yan frowned. From this voice, it was not enough to judge the current way of breaking the game, so everyone said in doubt. The Phoenix family is symbolized by the plane tree, because it symbolizes elegance and purity, and the image of the Phoenix family is extremely gentle. As for the spirit of the Phoenix tree, it is the king of the Phoenix tree. It continuously delivers vital energy to Phoenix Island, and is also one of the roots of the Phoenix family. Look, the top of this plane tree connects to the bottom of Phoenix Island. The memory of the 5-legged golden crow emerged like a spring, and then looked at the sky. Sure enough. But the branches of this plane tree are all withered, and it seems to have used up too much strength. Why is this? Xiao Yang nodded, and spoke out in a straightforward manner. Help me. The ancient voice sounded again. This time the voice was exceptionally clear, and everyone could clearly find that this voice was emanating from the plane tree in front of him. The spirit of the plane tree, tell your request, we can help you. In an instant, the 5-legged golden crow leaped up, squatted in the air, and roared at the plane tree in a dusty state. The void here is imprisoned and dusty, even with the strength of the 5-legged golden crow's current triple reincarnation level. When it leaped into the air, a huge pressure caused its body to become twisted. At the same time, a circle of fiery red energy permeated out, and suddenly the landscape in the center of the forest changed dramatically. Field. This spirit of the Phoenix tree can actually use the domain. The crystal world disappeared, replaced by a huge lake with turbulent waves. This is the realm of the spirit of Indus and its inner world. Be careful. The 5-legged golden crow stood in the sky and looked at this scene with some worry. Countless strong breaths of life rolled around in the lake, and the plane tree in front of him suddenly disappeared and turned into a little bit of fluorescent light scattered in this field, forming an illusory figure. Help me. Surrounded by fluorescent light, there was a weak murmur in Zaitu. In the end, Bingzueo and Fengqin looked at each other, and they were helpless about this scene. After all, although the two had special identities, they knew very little about the internal information of the Phoenix family. Brother Xiao Yang. The spirit of the parasol tree seems to be injured. Seeing the splendid energy flickering in front of her and the strange appearance of the surging figure, Zuna gritted her teeth and resisted the invasion of the reincarnation mark between her eyebrows, and said solemnly, "The fluctuations emanating from the seal of samsara are too strong, obviously something here is touching it. The thing in front of me must be related to the 9 profound Fire Lord." At the same time, the fluorescent energy transformation in front of him ended, and a terminally ill, thin old man stood listlessly in the sky, staring at the place where Xiao Yang and others were with dead eyes, dark and without any vitality, as if the entire body was invaded by endless desolation. The empty shell is generally. As expected, I guessed correctly, it is the spirit of the Phoenix tree of the Phoenix clan. Seeing the appearance of this weak old man in front of him, the 5-legged golden crow was arrogant and mocking. As the spirit of holy flame, as the incarnation of a divine weapon, it is not afraid of these things. As for the old man in front of him, he is the king of all the Phoenix trees in Phoenix Township, and he is also the one who manages and transmits the life force in the Phoenix tree for the Phoenix family. Exist. Help me. The old man with the spirit of Indus above the sky suddenly opened his mouth and said feebly. As soon as he finished speaking, behind him, a small plant no more than an inch slowly appeared. When this tiny plant appeared, all the energies of the heavens and the earth in this area were suddenly bleak, and it was lush and lush, which was extremely eye-catching. With the appearance of this strange plant, Bingfeng and Feng Qian, who were entrenched on Bingzuo's shoulders, 2 weak Fengming voices rang out, and a strong uneasiness instantly flooded into my heart. What a pure energy! Xiao Yang hurriedly used his soul power to shelter everyone in it, and looked at this strange plant with a solemn expression, but the information fed back to Xiao Yang by holy flame power and soul perception was extremely strange. Behind him is the core of this area of Phoenix Township, the Phoenix tree source seedling. This thing is the essence of all the Phoenix tree trees in the Phoenix family. The plane trees here have been inhabited by phoenixes for a long time, and they have become very spiritual, so according to its guidance, we have the opportunity to step into Phoenix Island. Bingfeng and Fengqin, as the descendants of the vassals of the Phoenix family, it is reasonable to see such pressure in the blood. The 5-legged Jinwu looked solemnly at the faint light behind the old man, and said in relief after a while, "What a weak vitality." Xiao Yang frowned. The vitality of this sapling was too weak. If it weren't for the protection of those dusty crystal blocks, it would have been completely extinguished. Help me. At this moment, the old man's voice suddenly became hoarse, and then above his body, colorful gaps filled with ancient fluctuations spread out. Above the body and the plants behind him, a fiery red phoenix shadow appeared slightly surging. Zana. At this moment, Xiao Yang suddenly realized something, and directly took Zana's arm and came to the side of the plant. This is holy flame. Just when she came to this plant with weak vitality, the 9 profound flames in Zana's body jumped very fast. Zana raised her head and saw the glazed holy flame beside Xiao Yang quietly crawling beside her. The vitality in this thing's body seems to have been absorbed too much by some forces, and the last trace of its origin is protected by a fiery red flame. This fiery red flame should also be a kind of holy flame, but it's just a trace of fire. Xiao Yang stared at the looming red phoenix shadow on the branches of the phoenix tree, and slowly opened his mouth. These situations all point to Phoenix Island. Brother Xiao Yang, let's do it. After a while, Zana took a deep breath and looked at Xiao Yang like a torch. Yep. Boom. Glass-colored flames and golden flames erupted from the two of them at the same time, and the dazzling flame halo illuminated the field extremely magnificently. Under the interweaving of the two forces, this sycamore seedling, which was already dying, with only the last trace of its origin left, actually began to grow slowly like bamboo shoots after a rain. Wutong Yuanmiao is like a greedy vampire, endlessly absorbing the holy flames in Zana and Xiao Yang's body to replenish the life breath that he consumes, but Zana is touched by the seal of reincarnation, so endless in the latter under the request, his face turned pale for a while, and the power in his body began to become disordered. The breath also became weird. If it goes on like this, I am afraid it will completely trigger the reincarnation seal, the reincarnation of the 9 profound Fire Lord. If the time is not enough to trigger it rashly, I am afraid that even now Xiao Yang and others try their best, they will not be able to stop it. Zana, back away. Xiao Yang hurriedly snorted coldly, and instantly pulled Zana away. Mistress, are you all right? After Zana backed away, the 5-legged golden crow hurried to Zana's side, his face equally ugly. Boom. As Xiao Yang increased his strength, the entire field suddenly exploded and dissipated, and everyone was returning to the bottom of the crystal block plane tree deep in the forest. However, at this time, after the energy of Xiao Yang and Wutong Yuanmiao converged, extremely violent energy fluctuations continued to overflow from the depths of the dust-covered forest with this crystal block as the core. Glazed flames, fiery red flames, and the green life breath contained in the depths of the phoenix tree seedlings. These 3 terrifying forces spread out like a storm of destruction. Wherever they went, in this dusty Phoenix township, countless crystal blocks suddenly buzzed, as if they were calling for something. Tear it off. The weak old man looked at this scene and nodded with relief, and then raised his hand to the top of the crystal-sealed plane tree. Immediately, a green passageway filled with countless prohibitions was looming, and the void was distorted, and there were still countless crystal blocks dusty, but the world behind it was extraordinarily attractive. The entrance to Phoenix Island appeared. Bing Shueyao below looked very excited and called out to the crowd. Damn! This sycamore seedling is still absorbing my power and can't escape. Seeing that the green light opening of the plane tree connecting Phoenix Island was getting smaller and smaller, Xiao Yang hurriedly wanted to unilaterally cut off the connection, but there was nothing he could do. A crisp Feng Ming voice sounded, and Xiao Yang's original position was immediately replaced by Feng Qian. Xiao Yang, go. Phoenix family, I'll leave it to you. After Feng Qian finished speaking, she directly used her continuous power of reincarnation to inject into the seedlings of the Wutong tree. Now she is also undergoing an extremely subtle transformation with this action. Go. Seeing this, Xiao Yang didn't have any time to hesitate. He pulled Zana and Bing Shuiyao with his left and right hands, and the glass-colored holy flames entangled out. The huge island suspended in the sky is like an ancient building that has never changed, without any changes, but everyone sensed it along the passage, and a trembling feeling spread from the body. At this time, a stream of light appeared under the plane tree below, and within a few flashes, Xiao Yang and the 3 successfully reached the top of the plane tree and the bottom edge of Phoenix Island. Just approaching the bottom of Phoenix Island, the huge island was constantly invaded by invisible energy fluctuations. The extremely terrifying shock wave swept through, and the whole world was filled with a rare awe. Even this so-called Phoenix Island was covered in dust by countless red crystal blocks at the same time. The red crystal block is also full of fiery red flames, and the situation is exactly the same as the Phoenix township below. On the edge of Phoenix Island, there are piles of fiery red crystal blocks that are thick and thick. They seal the Phoenix Island as if they form a layer of energy barrier. Under the protection of these extremely strong forces, if not Xiao Yang and others have the Indus with the guidance of the spirit, I am afraid that it is difficult for the 5 reincarnation steps to break this shackle. Phoenix Island is the habitat and core of the strong Phoenix family. Looking around, the area of this island is extremely large, but the whole is full of high mountains and dangerous peaks. If you count it carefully, it turns out that there are dozens of small peaks. Among them, the most notable ones are the 3 that stand in the center of Phoenix Island. Blood-red peaks. On the top of the mountain, there are plane trees perched around. Besides, there is a cloud and mist all day long. It seems that some huge ancient creatures exist. Moreover, this Phoenix Island is also covered by countless crystal blocks, the only one that is different from the Phoenix township below. Yes, the red flames in these crystal blocks, whether it is power or flame, are too tyrannical. The gentle life force enveloped everyone, easily penetrated the energy shackles, and stepped into the Phoenix Island. What a rich energy of heaven and earth. The 3 of them were suspended in the sky of Phoenix Island together. Bingzuo's beautiful eyes kept turning, and her palms were twisting at will, and clumps of fiery red liquid actually fell directly from the void. Under the nourishment of the fiery red power, the bodies of the 5-legged golden crow and the others let out an extremely pleasant humming sound. Brother Xiao Yang. I haven't found any trace of the strong Phoenix clan. Zuna used the seal of reincarnation and carefully sensed it, but in the entire huge Phoenix Island, there was not a trace of the body or even the trace of a strong Phoenix clan. At this time, Phoenix Island is almost an empty island. There is no hidden aura or the existence of powerful creatures. Senior. Xiao Yang tentatively cast his gaze on the 5-legged golden crow. The 5-legged golden crow had followed the 9 profound fire lord to enter here, so he should know more or less. Do not know. The last time my master and I came, this place was far from so deadly. The 5-legged golden crow felt a huge daze for a while, and could only helplessly shake his head. Go to the main peak first. Unhindered all the way, the 3 of them easily came to the top of the 3 largest blood-red main peaks in Phoenix Island. The top of the main peak is a flat circular field, and there is a blood-red mist in the center within a range of about 100 meters, and there is nothing else. Just as he stepped on the ground of the main peak of Phoenix Island, a long-lost heartbeat came out. Brother Xiao Yang. Zuna frowned. The pressure of the blood-red mist in front of her was too strong. The ground here, it seems to be a bit like the habitat of the Phoenix clan's patriarch. The 5-legged golden crow did not rush forward, but looked at the mountain and flat ground covered with blood-colored crystal blocks, and said solemnly, "The blood-colored crystal block is filled with an extremely violent and domineering power. And the holy flame in my body is restless. I'm afraid it has something to do with the holy flame. But so far, I can only bite the bullet." Xiao Yang nodded, then motioned for Bingzuo and Zuna to stand on the spot, and took the 5-legged golden crow with him, and walked towards the center step by step. It seemed that it was only a few dozen steps away, but when Xiao Yang started to walk, every step he took was as if there were countless ancient forces suppressing him. At the same time, the vertical eyes between Xiao Yang's eyebrows suddenly opened, and the unique breath of the Xiao family was released from the vertical eyes. Breakthrough. Immediately, the blood-red crystal blocks on the flat ground began to shake, and a hot and violent aura actually penetrated from these crystal blocks. The terrifying blood-colored red light overflowed from the crystal block, and then exploded without any warning. A suffocating, terrifying wave after wave slammed into Xiao Yang and the 3 of them viciously. Eyes. Golden crow. Glass armor. 3 cold hums sounded at the same time, and immediately above the 3 bodies, the glazed flame, the golden flame and the ice attribute energy merged into a scene of extremely gorgeous flame armor. Under the attack of this kind of blood-colored energy, the defense that the 3 of them jointly displayed was as ridiculous as ants, and instantly turned into powder and disappeared here, a majestic force of destruction, directly ignoring everyone's defenses, whistling at their hearts. And go. Retreat. Xiao Yang was shocked, his speed soared, and he left the mountain with the 2 of them. His body was entrenched in the void outside the mountain, and his expression was extremely solemn. The blood-colored energy was rampant, and the violent and hot energy actually made this mountain dim a lot. Tear it off. With the spread of this energy, the mountains and plains in front of me suddenly had some subtle changes. The ground originally surrounded by crystal blocks actually flashed with countless ancient red patterns, and the blood-colored mist in the center was slowly rippling. Zuna, be careful. Senior 5-legged golden crow, we. Before Xiao Yang could finish his words, a burst of intense blood-colored energy spread, and its horror was no less than the 5-legged golden crow at its peak. Look. The five-legged golden crow looked towards the center of the mountain. Following the directions, everyone's faces were startled, and then their eyes were filled with an unbelievable look. The top of this mountain is actually a formation. The number of formation patterns emitted from the ancient blood-colored crystal blocks, even today's Xiao Yang is ashamed. The power of formations at this price is indeed a bit appalling. Looking along the core of the blood-colored crystal formation, there is a blood-red, even somewhat demonic blood circle, which contains a touch of the strongest aura that surpasses the heavens and the earth. Xiao Yang and the others glanced at the past, and could only vaguely see a looming figure in them. The five-legged golden crow and Bingzuo's body trembled abruptly, and the latter two stared at the violently surging energy in the blood circle, and the next moment they lost their voice. Phoenix Clan Patriarch. Feng Luani? The patriarch of the Phoenix family? Xiao Yang and Zuna exclaimed at the same time, looking at the scene in front of them. A dignified feeling filled their hearts. After a while, the holy flames surged out of their bodies uncontrollably, forming a very strong energy barrier in front of their bodies, vigilantly watching the blood-colored energy in the formation. The blood-colored energy rolled, and after a few breaths, it stopped surging, allowing the interior of the formation space to return to its normal appearance. At the same time, the strange blood mist at the core of the formation gradually disappeared, and a figure was revealed inside, which was silent here. In the center of the array formed by the blood-red crystal block, there is a throne. The throne is full of 5 colors. All kinds of strange birds and beasts are carved on the edge. It is very spiritual and looks magnificent. It was a woman with silky hair as soft as cotton wool, wearing an extremely delicate hair ornament and crown on her head, and she was dressed in bright red, and the color on her robe was as deep as human blood. The most striking thing is that on top of this woman's head, a phoenix shadow the size of a slap is quietly dormant, with a fiery red flame on her body that will never go out. That kind of fluctuation made the void here distorted, coupled with the induction of Xiao Yang and others. There is no doubt that it is Sheng Yang. Holy Flame. The 9th Holy Flame on the Holy Flame list, Nirvana Phoenix Flame. Looking at this scene, the long-lost shock swept Xiao Yang's heart, and he almost blurted out. Boom. Uncontrollable, Samsara Yin moved Zuna's body little by little towards the formation and approached the past. Brother Xiao Yang. I'm fine. This seems to be the consciousness within the seal of reincarnation. Seeing Xiao Yang directly ignoring the invasion of the energy of the formation and surrounding his delicate body, Zuna explained. Me and you together. Xiao Yang said with a faint smile, hugging Zuna and walking towards the throne in the center of the formation step by step. Just when they were dozens of meters away from the throne, an invisible barrier isolated the two figures. The golden flame of samsara spread, and layers of blood-colored crystal blocks that were airtight immediately appeared in front of them. These crystal blocks completely wrapped and sealed the figure where the throne was located. This is the power of Holy Flame. Until this moment, the shock of the 5-legged golden crow calmed down, and then walked towards the center step by step. This guy is indeed the patriarch of the Phoenix clan, and the flame above her head also belongs to the Holy Flame. However, the blood-red crystal block around her is a special crystal block that contains reincarnation. Even with our strength, once you touch it, I am afraid the end will be extremely terrifying. We can only. Just after the 5-legged golden crow finished speaking, flames poured into Xiao Yang's eyes, and then the majestic soul force invaded out, directly taking in all the figures on the inner throne. The woman's delicate body is extremely petite, a faint fragrance is released, and the long hair scattered in 5 colors seems to have a different kind of charm, and with the tall and exquisite figure, it outlines a graceful curve. Invisibly, there is a terrifying aura of confrontation with the heaven and earth chambers, and in conjunction with the supreme status, it is enough to make the strong of any force retreat. Beside this throne, there are a total of 9 phoenix shadows covered with crystal blocks, quietly crawling in 9 directions, seeming to protect and fear the Phoenix Emperor, and this interior space is completely surrounded by blood-red crystal blocks, and it is impossible to get close. She is the most outstanding daughter of the Phoenix family. Compared with the goddess Yaoji, her strength is almost the same. At this moment, the 5-legged golden crow stood on the two of them, the soft golden flame and the flame between Zuna's eyebrows began to burn, and a familiar touch emanated from the inside of the crystal block. At the end of the Great Thousand Cataclysm, the army of the evil tribes from outside the domain retreated, but there was still a small number of strong people from outside the domain left on the edge of the Great Thousand World. The master volunteered to guard the border of the outside world to drive them away. But the enemy's power was huge, and the master was unfortunately injured. Just when the master was endangered, Feng Luani appeared alone, repelling the outside world and saving the master. Since that incident was separated, the master received the news that Feng Luani was imprisoned by the Phoenix family shortly after, and took me to the Phoenix family. It's a pity that the strong people of the Phoenix family gathered at the beginning, but they were forcibly sent out of Phoenix Island by the Phoenix instrument in the end. Five-legged golden crow looked at the scene in front of him and explained every bit of his memory. Afterwards, the senior Zhu Shenhua master himself was weak and was involved in the turbulent flow of time and space. In the end, he was rescued by our ancient ancestors and brought back to the ancient clan to cultivate. The Zhu Shenhua master himself was shaken too violently. The holy flame is sealed in the holy land of our clan, and it is trapped in reincarnation. Zuna followed the words of the five-legged golden crow. But what happened to the senior Zhu Shenhua master in the Phoenix clan? Why did the two forces provoke a fight? Xiao Yang was helpless and could only nod secretly. Do not know. Let's do it. Only by acquiring some of the power of Nirvana Phoenix Flame can we cooperate with the power of the divine weapon to completely suppress the touched samsara seal. Otherwise, the torment the hostess will face will be too painful. Go. The glass-colored flame and the golden flame burned together, and then Xiao Yang took Zuna's palm and took extremely heavy steps toward the interior sealed by the crystal block. The power of holy flame lingered, causing Xiao Yang and their bodies to merge into the crystal block little by little, and then approached the throne. Drops of sweat dripped down uncontrollably, and the feeling that one wrong step would be irreversible always shocked the two of them. Not enough. Although I have the protection of the holy flame, I can get close contact with and take out the holy flame. This is not enough, so Xiao Yang wraps the holy flame on the palm of his hand a little bit at the fingertips, smashed the blood-red crystal block out of a channel. The sharp voice stung Xiao Yang's soul, but no matter how enormous the pressure released by the inner throne and the 9 phoenix shadows, Xiao Yang laughed as if nothing was wrong. Brother Xiao Yang, that's enough. Zuna's delicate body began to tremble. Apparently, when facing the 9 phoenix shadows guarding the throne, a sense of powerlessness emerged. On the other hand, Xiao Yang's cheeks were covered with wrinkles that were particularly eye-catching. Do not worry. He raised his palm, the glazed flame turned into a splendid liquid, and the palm that wrapped Xiao Yang gently smashed the crystal block in front of him. Xiao Yang tirelessly smashed a narrow passage into the void of the crystal block for the two of them to enter the edge of the throne, and many blood-red crystal blocks fell on Xiao Yang's skin, accompanied by a touch of pain deep into the bone marrow. That kind of reluctance, even today's Xiao Yang, can't help but sigh, but those powers are attached to Xiao Yang's skin and will not dissipate for a long time. It's just that the current Xiao Yang clearly has no time to pay attention to these. His eyes are red, and his palms are constantly waving to sweep out these crystal blocks. A passage lingering with blood-red crystal blocks was actually smashed out by Xiao Yang, and directly connected to the bottom of Feng Luani's throne, and Sheng Yang. Zuna, come here quickly. Inspire the seal of reincarnation, and trigger the resonance of the power of the two. I will use the power of the soul as a guide to ******* a trace of the origin of Nirvana Phoenix Flames, and help you completely control the reincarnation. Xiao Yang's eyes were red, and he forcibly gritted his teeth, enduring the pain caused by the broken crystal blocks around him, which turned into countless violent energies attached to his skin. The fiery red flame is like a tide of energy that destroys the sky and destroys the earth. It has just emerged, and suddenly a monstrous ocean wave is set off in the crystal channel here. Senior. Bing Shuiao behind her gritted her teeth, her body poured into it at the same time. Bing Feng stretched her wings little by little, and an extremely cold white mist filled the air, weakening the power of Nirvana Fengyang little by little. With Bing Shuiao's sense of smell, she naturally found that the 9 phoenixes in front of her and Feng Luani, the patriarch of the Phoenix clan who had once saved her, did not completely fall. In a very delicate situation. It is a bit like sleeping in the past. Once awakened, whether it is strength or prestige, in this vast world, it should be among the top. Zuna, let's start. I will be here to protect you until your reincarnation seal is completely stabilized. The furious fiery red holy flame slowly floated in front of Zuna, and a majestic pressure filled the air, but no matter how majestic the power of this Nirvana Phoenix flame was, it was the combined force of the 2 holy flame controllers. Down, you can only be quiet. Don't worry, little guy, I will protect her. At this time, the 5-legged golden crow also got rid of other violent breaths and disdain, and quietly stood on Zuna's shoulders. Only by stabilizing the seal of reincarnation, can there be a chance to go to the sea of samsara to wake up the Lord of 9 profound fire in the future. If something happens to the seal of reincarnation, I am afraid that the chance for 9 to wake up the Lord of profound fire will be slim. Boom. The fiery red holy flame lingered around Zunna's body, covering it with crystal blocks. In conjunction with the power of the reincarnation seal, a wonderful fusion of power began for a while. These powers are useful to you, take the opportunity to absorb them. Until Zunna was completely quiet, Bingshui Yaoyu who was beside him waved his hand, directly emitting a white mist to protect Xiao Yang. You. Xiao Yang's brows furrowed, because the crystal block channel on his body has long been corroded by the violent force, and it has become riddled with holes. Bang bang bang. With the emergence of the strange cold fog of Bingzueo, a series of strange changes occurred on Xiao Yang's body. The first is the blood-colored energy that the blood-red crystal blocks are attached to his skin. The violent energy in it is actually dissipated under the action of the cold mist, and slowly turned into a very pure blood-red liquid. That feeling is as if the cold mist completely eliminated the violent factor in the blood-colored energy. The mourners of the ice attribute have such terrifying power after the reincarnation level strength. If they grow up in the future, that kind of strength can be learned from the world. In the blood-colored liquid, there is an unparalleled majestic power, it seems to have spirituality, and it continuously flows slowly from Xiao Yang's skin, heart, etc., and with the flow of this liquid, Xiao Yang is surprised to find that his own the body has been repaired little by little. It even has a reborn touch. Nirvana Fengyang has the effect of nirvana, although these are only part of the power of the holy flame, but your own strength is tyrannical, plus the many holy flames in your body, it is reasonable to have this situation. Bingzuo's beautiful eyes have been locked on the crystal channel in front of the woman who is entrenched on the throne, and her respect is particularly intense. You. Xiao Yang seemed to be aware of it and temporarily suppressed these forces. I have my destiny, absorb it as soon as possible. After Bing Shuiao finished speaking, the body of the Bingfeng beside him swelled directly, and little ice crystals floated out from his body, slightly reducing the temperature in Phoenix Island. She has shown her own position with her actions, and she will protect it again. The next moment, Bingzuo and Bingfeng turned into an ice sculpture together, standing on top of this formation mountain, their eyes filled with extreme humility looking at the woman on the throne. Xiao Yang let out a faint sigh, watching Zunna enter the state of cultivation. Bing Shuiao also slowly turned into an ice sculpture, and started her own cultivation. Although he didn't understand the magical effect of this blood-red liquid for a while, Xiao Yang did not deliberately control it, so this liquid continued to flow in his body. Every time it flows, it makes Xiao Yang happy both physically and mentally, and even Xiao Yang feels that both his skin and his body strength seem to be increasing little by little. Since that's the case, then try it, can you break through the current shackles? After a while, a turbid gas appeared in Xiao Yang's deep eyes, and then the glass-colored holy flame wrapped around his body and began to smash the blood-red crystal blocks continuously. Following Xiao Yang's actions, the 9 phoenix shadows in the dust-covered state crawling beside the throne suddenly sent out a shocking, terrifying fluctuation. The fluctuation was like a black hole, and when it first appeared, it was about to kill Xiao Yang. The terrifying fluctuation caused Xiao Yang's blood to solidify in an instant, and a hairy sense of fear emerged spontaneously. Xiao Yang was trying his best to smash the blood-red crystal block, the crystal block shattered, and a pool of blood-colored liquid flowed on his body. He noticed this movement and hurriedly looked up. However, those black hole forces did not cause any storms, because the fingers of Qianying Jade's hand entrenched on the throne lightly touched, and the whole space became quiet. As if the woman on the throne moves at will, this world can be destroyed at will. It's too strong. What kind of huge strength does this require? Do not care. Feeling the continuous flow of blood-red liquid, they seemed to be tempering and scouring his body, but Xiao Yang was full of energy. However, Xiao Yang is naturally not aware of the actions of the 9 phoenix shadows just now, because the crystal blocks surrounding the throne are the phoenix Yangjing associated with nirvana phoenix flames. The effect, and the miraculous effect of nirvana. The number of these Feng Yanjings surrounding Feng Luani is huge, but the terrifying power contained in them can be learned from the world. It's a pity that the Phoenix family is now in a dusty state. Otherwise, Xiao Yang's move will definitely be surrounded and killed by the strong Phoenix family. You must know that Feng Yangjing can only be enjoyed by the king of the Phoenix family and a few supreme elders. An outsider in this mere area has directly forcibly refined a third of the most precious thing in the Phoenix family. After resting, Xiao Yang closed his eyes and controlled these forces to continuously increase his strength. At the same time, the cycle of reincarnation that had been stagnant began to slowly turn. After the reincarnation, the square is 1 turn. I hope it lives up to expectations. Xiao Yang murmured, and began to close his eyes to control the many powers in his body. At the same time, above the entire dead silence of the Phoenix Island, There seemed to be some terrifying power that pierced through the void and slowly gathered here. This video will end here.